Hey folks, this is Kalani. We finally have some marksmanship changes to talk about on patch 7.2.5 PTR, and they're a little weird and honestly not what I expected, but that might be a good thing. So the first big change is the vulnerable damage bonus is going from 100% all the way down to 30%. That's a huge change, but don't panic. We've done the math, and it turns out it probably won't actually change anything, like, at all. Damage shouldn't change overall, playstyle shouldn't change, legendary power shouldn't change. Honestly, it seems like these changes won't actually change anything except the difference between an aimed shot which hits during vulnerable and an aimed shot that doesn't. The gap is going to be significantly smaller, so let's have a look at some of the numbers. Again, vulnerable is going down to a 30% bonus from the 100% bonus, and everything else that affects vulnerable is also going down. The patient sniper talent currently provides a 10% bonus for every second of vulnerable. That's going down to 6% every second. That means our cap at the end of vulnerable will go from 160% to 66%. But it doesn't stop there. The unerring arrows trait also increases vulnerable bonus damage, and that's going from 4% per rank to 3% per rank. We have 4 ranks default, so that's an extra 12% down from 16%. So, vulnerable bonus damage is being cut across the board. Interestingly, marked shot damage isn't moving at all, but I guess that's to be expected as it's no longer affected by vulnerable. As I said, this is all going to be offset. The damage base of aimed shot is being increased significantly. The damage modifier is being increased from 275% to 425%, which means we're going to be doing significantly more damage with aimed shot if vulnerable isn't on the target, making it a little better if you're getting bad luck with procs, but the vulnerable changes all work out to be about the same. I've got a little chart here with everything mathed out, and you can see base damage is going to be higher. Damage with just vulnerable is going to be a teeny bit higher, but when you add in the patient sniper talent, you can see it gets closer, and then we start losing damage after we hit the second stage of patient sniper stacking up, which caps out to be quite a bit of a loss at the very end of patient sniper. What's interesting is that when we add in the unerring arrows trait, we can see things stay a lot closer than without it. The damage loss is only 3.5% at the end of vulnerable with patient sniper. Overall, these changes seem to be aimed at taking away the strong emphasis on perfect play. It's going to be much less punishing to throw out those aim shots early on in the vulnerable window, and it's not going to be the end of the world if you have to cast quite a few aim shots outside of vulnerable entirely, because they're going to be hitting way harder now. The increase in damage at the start of vulnerable is definitely going to make up for the damage lost towards the end of vulnerable, so there's no need to worry just yet. The tier 20 set bonuses may also encourage us to cast off more aim shots early on in the vulnerable debuff, so we'll have to wait and see how it all pans out. Either way, we're going to be less reliant on vulnerable to actually deal our damage, which is a fantastic change in my books. Hopefully it's the first step to getting rid of the blasted mechanic altogether. If you're curious about piercing shot and the interaction with vulnerable, everything is exactly the same. The base damage was upped and the numbers follow exactly like the aim shot numbers. It's more damage towards the start of vulnerable and a little bit less damage towards the end. It's probably still going to be worth getting your piercing shots in the last vulnerable window, as piercing shot is on a relatively long cooldown compared to aim shot, but as I said earlier, these changes do nothing to our current playstyle and literally are just redistributing our damage. We honestly probably won't see much of a difference at all unless you're really bad at tracking vulnerable, in which case you'll probably see a decent boost in your damage. So, that's all for this video. It's a quick one, I know, but I wanted to discuss these changes and keep the pitchforks locked away and the torches unlit. Hopefully, we'll see some more exciting changes to marksmanship before 7.2.5 goes live, so we can have more to talk about. So, if you have any questions or queries, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible, or hop on over to Discord. We have a server at discord.gg/Kalani, great place to come ask questions or just hang out. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.